I was going to get to what happened at the subnational, but let me take your mind back to our earlier discussion. You did emphasize that you'd be disappointed if we have a vice presidential candidate from Delta State that is expected that we rake in at least nothing less than 80-85% of the votes. Will you say you were disappointed?
Yes, I was disappointed in the sense that I told you this Obi wind was a kind of wind that blew all over, particularly the south. To the point that we will get to our units. I'm from Uwen, right? I'm a ward leader there. To yesterday, we'll get to our unit, and the boys said that, for governorship, we know what to do. For presidency, sir, you leave us alone. No, it's Obi. We couldn't talk to the boys. How he did the magic, I cannot tell. We couldn't talk to them. And so this is Delta. Although, I had said it earlier that my governor should concentrate on the vice presidency and leave governorship to the lesser chiefs to handle. And that was when I said, you don't carry an elephant on your head and be digging crickets with your toes. Apparently, we were digging cricket with our toes with the vice presidency, and we lost the elephant. we lost the elephant. I'm very disappointed. I said then that if Okowa got 60% of Delta State votes for PDP, I would be very disappointed. I would be very unhappy. That should be between 85 to 90%, because this is his own base. And that was what we expected, but it did not happen that way. Majorly because of Peter Obi. Peter Obi was grossly underestimated to our peril. And that was how we did not get it. Of course, there were some other politics. I thought then too, when I was that confident, that the G5 matter would be resolved. It's only now they're about going to start resolving it. After the snake had passed, you are hitting the ground with your stick. They were warned. Wike and his gang had carried one of your legs. He's left for only one leg to be carried, and you will crash. They allowed Wike and the gang to carry the second leg. And they were on their backs. They are just waking up. We'll suspend fire, we'll suspend this. How can you be suspending people like that? These are key members of your party. At the time you ran away from the party, these people were there. When Atiku ran away from the party, the Wikes were there. Right? When even the Ayu himself left the party, the Wikes were there. So you cannot just come, and say these persons who had held the party down for you should be driven away. PDP made big errors, very big errors in the build-up to the elections. They could have done better, but there's always another 4 years. There's always another 4 years. Too bad. That then, of course, in the South there was this anti-North 8 years more sentiment. You'll be there for 8 years. Atiku was the one who said Jonathan could not go again. It was the turn of the North. It was the turn of the North in our local. Now it's now our turn, right? So we allowed you 8 years, but to come back now and say you are taking another 8 years. Nigeria is not yet as united as that. Yeah, it's not yet as one as that. Knowing that your party had said, okay, it goes this way, then it comes this way, it goes this way, it comes this way. APC is also copying the PDP formula in Delta State. Delta Central, Delta South, Delta North, now back to Delta Central, data. That's what it's called. APC is copying it. That's why APC feeded somebody from Delta Central also. So it's like PDP had taught Nigerians how to zone. But not all states are doing that anyway, how to zone. And for the same PDP to say we are not zoning, people felt cheated. That there's an attempt somewhere, somebody is playing a game somewhere to shortchange the South. And so they decided, okay, in the South now, who do we take? Okay, let's take Peter Obi, right? And Peter Obi's campaign was very, very formidable. Their propaganda was heavy. It was very heavy. Just that the Jagaban cut across the nation. I give that to him. I give that to Tinubu. He cut across this nation. I think he's a Nigerian. He's a Nigerian. Others should emulate him. Reach out. Leave your comfort zone. To the extent that even when he lost that same comfort zone, He still won the election. If Tinubu had depended on just votes from the southwest, he would have come third, not first or second. He would have come third. But he was wise enough to have started building bridges long before now in the north, such that he was only beaten in some northern states with narrow margins, with very narrow margins. And that's why he's where he is. So that is it. Delta State is won and lost until tribunal decides otherwise. Until tribunal decides, or Supreme Court. Because I know either party will head up to the Supreme Court. So until the Supreme Court decides otherwise. Elections are won and lost.
Speaking of Delta State, and with particular emphasis to the gubernatorial and the Houses of Assembly election, it is surprising to most political observers, maybe not the active political observers, to see what happened at the presidential, where Delta State, PDP specifically, and APC in general term could not match up with the pace of what Labour Party was dishing at that time. But something different or a lot happened between then and the subnational elections. What do you think? Yes, sir. What do you think went into that? And
for the presidential election, Labour Party was not the issue. Peter Obi was the issue. If you ask any PDP person, PDP leader in any ward in Delta State, he will confess to you. Say, Peter, we cannot control this boy, so it's Obi. But they will promise you, after presidential, sir, we are back to this. After presidential, it is this. That's why you see for the presidential election, that was the election for the National Assembly too. Obi will win. APC will win a Senate and House of Reps. Like in Ugali North. Okay, Delta Central, for example. Right? My own federal constituency. Obi cleaned it. But this same federal constituency, APC, one Senate, one House of Reps. In other words, it's not about Labour Party. It's about the individuals. You know, when we were chatting, I told you, individuals, this is the person. And I told you, Obi's campaign was very unique. Very unique. I have only one wristwatch, I have only one shoe. If I spend all the government money buying 1,000 shoes, which one will I use in developing your area? Can I do road for you? My convoy is only 4 cars, not up to 50. The people were calculated. Okay, so people are using 50 cars, that's convoy, is using 4. Oh, this man is good. So they were happy. See, Obi was telling them, I'm saving your money for you. I will save your money for you. And that's what Nigerians want to hear. You know, every Nigerian believes that every other Nigerian is a thief. So here is a man who comes and says, I'm not a thief, I'm not like them. He forgot to know that I'm not like us, because he's been in the system too. He's been a vice presidential candidate to Atiku. If Atiku is not good, he will not be a vice presidential candidate. But nobody thinks about that. That's why I say his campaign was very well thought out. If we use this is what the people want to hear. And they heard. People now disowned us. Our old boys disowned us. Daddy is not there. This one is Obi. The other one, we will listen. After Obi, we will go to a normal show. So Obi won as an individual. If Obi had come under Abga, he would have won the elections. He certainly would have, not won the elections. He would have had the same votes, the same effect. Right? If any party under which Obi came with this kind of campaign, he would have won. But it's also possible that if he had come under other parties, the party bigwigs would have cornered him and wanted to run his campaigns for him. And that could have lost to loss of votes. This one, he ran his campaign himself. I wasn't seeing any key figure with him. All these ones talking on television now that this I should be. They couldn't talk there. Obi stole the show. And after he spoke, that was the end of it. In some places, he was not even allowed to speak. Just go, we just want to see your face. When he came to Agbo, it was a risk. It was a security risk for him to come down for the chopper. They had to, please go back. You've won. Don't come and die here. The Obi phenomenon was too much for everybody. So it wrestled everybody down. Before PDP people knew, Obi had cleaned everywhere. He had cleaned everywhere. Down south. So there was no way anybody was going to stand to be in the south. No, it didn't work. So he won. That was why the others still retained their popularity. will be for this, Ede Dafinone for Senate, Waive for House of Reps in my federal constituency. The same election. So people are becoming very discerning too. You know, you do this. You just say, okay, is the Labour Party, just tick everything. Say, no, which one is president? Is this one for president? Okay, Senate is Ede Dafinone. House of Reps is Pastor Waive. It's a good one. It's a good one. We are making progress. Yeah.
The election in Delta State still pulling on the same string. It's marred with a different impression. Some have believed, let's speak to Delta Unity Group. There were a series of endorsements that at a time a lot of people believe it was going to happen for the APC presidential candidate, though I believe you are still in court, which means you do the APC gubernatorial candidate is not at home with the outcome of the elections. In that case, it's in court. But a lot of people had expected so much coming from, was confident of the winning going to one for DUG. What informed the decision to find a resting home in another party? Is understanding the wave of what I might call punishment for those perceived that haven't gone into anti-party. Would you say DUG was in anti-party mode?
No, it's not. DUG had different tendencies. There were APC members in Delta Unity Group. There were Labour Party members in Delta Unity Group. They were PDP members, right? Although it started from the belief in Edewe that he could modernize Delta. So there were persons from outside PDP that believed in the Edewe candidacy. And I can tell you that APC itself would have been scared stiff if Edewe was the candidate of the party, right? But the elections have come and gone, like I said before. Somebody has emerged, DUG did not make a statement on presidential candidate deliberately. We discussed that. DUG members were free to pick a presidential candidate of his or her choice. We were interested in the governorship candidate or the candidacy of Ovi Omagege, that we felt of the three or many. Some were just like the parable of the sower, you know. The sower went to sow and just spread the seed. Some fell on rock, and some fell on thorns, and then some fell on the road. I bet speak to them. There were those ones that fell by the road, so I don't count them. So the major ones actually were Sheriff and Obarisi of Omagege. There was no other serious candidate. The other one was banking on the Labour Party of Peter Obi. Obedience are different from the Labour Party. So while he was talking of Labour Party, the obedience were elsewhere. We were scattered between the two major candidates, right? So DUG was for one of them, and the one that lost, or that was pronounced to have lost, is in the tribunal right now, challenging the outcome of the elections. And because the matter is in the tribunal, I will not want to belabor it. I will leave that. But for charges of anti-party activities, who is anti-party, who is not anti-party? Everybody, almost everybody was anti-party concerning Obi. Very strong members of the PDP and APC voted for Peter Obi in Delta State. They did. And in the South generally. That's why Labour Party doesn't really have members in Delta State. The obedience are in APC and PDP. That's where you find the obedience. And probably if there was going to be a rerun and Peter Obi were to come again, they will still come from their PDP and the APC hideout and work for obedience, not for Labour Party. Right? So who will you punish? Who will you leave? And in any case, this is not the first time. This is not the first time. Key members of PDP from the very beginning, APC is guilty of it too. When their candidates lose primaries, they just go and be, come and contest. They come and contest. Usually not, we've had it. Okay, somebody wanted to go to House of Assembly, PDP did feed him, okay. Come and contest under another party. He contested that one. Huh? He is a commissioner now. Can he try me for anti-party activities? He cannot sit in judgment over me for anti-party activities. Right? How did Osakwe go to Senate for the first time? From Accord party. Abi? The Accord is not the same thing as PDP. Okay, Accord, according to PDP. It happened. In the incarnation, somebody went to contest an election, was sponsored by PDP members. At the 90s or early 2000s. To go and contest in another party. Sponsored to go and contest in another party. Because of disagreement with the mainstream PDP. Just go. When you go to the House of Assembly, those answering APC and other parties are PDP people. Sponsored by PDP people. As soon as they get there, they will just, okay, I decamp to PDP. You know, just go now, come back. Just go and come back. To come to equity, you must come with clean hands. I do not see anybody who will sit in judgment over anybody in PDP. Frankly speaking, if there's going to be a panel, they will be told to their face. No, you've done this before now. You sponsor this one somewhere. You sponsored this. You told this one to go there. You told this one to go there. Was it how you would have sat in judgment over anybody? Could you have sat in judgment over Wike? Who did at the party? Wike, who remained in the party from beginning? Or you that ran away from the party to go and bring somebody in against the party's candidate? And then you come back now, you are made national chairman, you are making noise where people are talking. You should not really talk where people are talking. That's why I say Wike. I use plural to describe him. He's not a man, he's a man. He stood his ground. This is how it should be. So nobody is afraid of being tried for anti-party activities. Everybody is anti-party. Everybody is anti. You see some people up there. When you go and meet them, say, no, this one will go. This one, they forced me to sign the paper. This is the person that will go. In the day of judgment, everybody will speak his mind. Everybody will speak his mind. But the beauty of it is that debtors have learned to vote for candidates and not parties. Debtors have learned to vote for candidates and not parties. That's why Peter Obi won Delta. Right? And all his candidates for Senate lost. All lost. In my area, all lost. His candidate for governorship didn't go anywhere. I don't know if he will get his deposit. If it is to a time of paying deposit, he would have forfeited his deposit. Not known. So it's good to vote for candidates because this is data state we are talking about. It happens in the US too. Remember Colin Powell? He was in one party, was supporting somebody from another party. Because according to him, it's the United States we are talking about. It's Nigeria we are talking about. It's data we are talking about. Who can we make president of Nigeria that will remember the world people as being part of Nigeria? That's the person I should be voting for, not because somebody is being sponsored by the PDP, which is my party. I won't do that. First and foremost, I'm an Uwero man. That's what makes me an Urobo man. That's what makes me a Delta, and that's what makes me a Nigerian. So among all of them, I will look at the one. I'll look at one and say, if this one goes in, he has visited us before. We had told him our problems, so it's likely to come back to us. And I say, but he's not in our party. It's not a party matter now. We're talking of survival. You think if there's somebody who can come and remove this killer Fulani herdsmen from Uwero, whether it's in Labour Party or whatever party, I will mobilize the whole of Uwero to vote for that person. And we'll get the Uwero votes simply because of that. Because we are suffering. So forget about anti-party and all that. The only thing they can do is that those who have been given appointments can be relieved of appointment because no permission was obtained before the appointment was given. So no permission should be obtained before the person is relieved of that appointment. It's like when you appointed a commissioner, the governor did not take permission from anybody. So it does not require anybody's permission and input from anybody before he can relieve a commissioner of his appointment. Other than that, as for party, the party belongs to all of us. Nobody owns the party more than the other. At a point, the governor is leader of the party while he's governor. After that, he's not leader of the party. The next governor becomes the leader of the party. But there's a party chairman in the state. There's a party chairman in the ward and the local government. Right? Things should be done properly. But I'm saying, in Obiarugo, there's one food joint called Who is Free. If we look deeply into this matter, I will ask the question, who is free? Nigerians are learning. They are voting for candidates. there are no more voting for parties. And this will teach the political parties a lesson. Before you bring somebody out, make sure that Nigerians will love that person. Make sure that Nigerians will believe in that person. Before you bring somebody out in Delta State to be the governorship party of your governorship candidate of your party, make sure that he will be loved by the people. Make sure there are no skeletons. Make sure there are no things that will make the court to remove the person after he's been elected. You must look deeply into those things. And then the person must also believe in Delta State, must also believe in Nigeria. Those are the kinds of people we are looking for. And wherever they are located, they will be supported. They will be supported. It's not about the party.